Yeah, hi, good morning or good evening, everyone. Welcome to the learning sessions. Yes, in this section, we are going to look into that one more important concept as like a DevOps engineer. Yeah, so while working with the version controlling tools, especially, is which we need to verify the same file which is have in that like different versions. Yes, the content wise, what is the difference that we have in those files between the versions of the same file? It is keep on required to verify that. It is like as a file comparison. Yeah, but how do you do the file comparison, and what are the different tools are available to compare the files on the Linux system, on the Linux point of view? How do we use it? Yeah, that is a section which we are going to look into. That is, how do we compare the two different versions of the files on the Linux system? Yeah, we have the different utilities on the Linux system which we can use it, like different approaches. So if you have already gone through that VAE concept, there we were understanding VAM -D option. You can use it, or Vim diff also, which you can use it. Yeah, that is one option. But like specific to this section, if you talk it that, yeah, we have like a diff command. Yeah, we can use it a diff. I mean, two files which have the file one and file two, which you can pass it to compare the two files. And as well as SDF is also one more utility. This is like comparing the two files, a side-by-side comparison. We'll observe that all these in the demo sections. And third tool which you can use it, not on the content of that the file, and internal like identical of that this the content wise, that is memory reference of that internal of the file, whether that is the same or not. That means unique codes or unique IDs of that the files are also the same or not, as identical to verify that. Yes, we can use it one more utility, that is a SHA-256 sum and file 1 and file 2. This is a hash codes wise the difference which we can identify on the files. And finally, which we have like one more option, Vim diff. Yes, like this section which you can find it in the VA also, the VA editor. If you have gone through that, there also you can find it, VM diff file 1 and file 2. This is also going to helpful that to have the file comparisons. Yeah, there are some utilities which are available from the Linux system where we can use it to verify the contents of the file. Now let me go to this like the system and to work with the set to understand that how do we use it these files to compare the like file content. Yeah, so now we go for using the command name prompt. Yes, how do we use it these tools? The first, the one by one tool we'll observe that. So how it is going to help them. The first to have the comparison, let me replicate it the two files. So where we should have this different content, right? So for that point, what I'm going to do this is, yes, let me create some files. If config, this command output, I'm going to write to that's the first .txt. This is the first file. If config, and yes, if you just observe that, yes, this is having network interfaces information. And let me run it one command, that is ping, to send that the data to received some data from the system. Yes, I have done. So just I'm using some network interface to transmit the data and receiving the data. Yes, I'm going to stop this. That is by using the Control C. Now let me go for using that if config. Yes. So let me generate now the difference of the content to the second file. The if config, the same command output, but we are writing now after pinging that some data has been transmitted, right, from the about our local system to that is ping whatever we have done. Yes, it has been written to the second.txt. So almost that file content the same. It shows that the same, that file and this file, right? But do you have this really did the difference or not in that file? Yeah, so we can use it cmp command, cmp, that is comparison utility, to compare the files. That is, let me pause at the first dot.txt and then second.txt. Now we see that the cmp command is going to help us that yes, we have some difference about that these many bytes. Yeah, so these many bytes wise we have the difference, the 282 bytes, and in the line number 5. Yes, that is helping, cmp is helping that to know the bits wise difference. Yeah, how many bytes, that's we have the comparing these two files. Yes, it is helping that difference. But instead of that, using this, and if I use it, sdiff, sdiff is going to show that the complete the file content. And yeah, so you see that some here it is showing about it, some lines between that, this file and this file. This is the first file and this is the second file. Yeah, so in this line somewhere you will have some differences. Yes, this line is having the difference, and this line is also having the difference. That is line numbers. If you go for that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth line is having some difference, and the seventh line it is having some difference. But like identifying that which content is having the difference, that is somewhat little bit difficult with the sdiff command. Yeah, CMP is a utility bytes wise. The total, I mean, these two files it is comparing, and bytes wise are the differences in which line number. That was showing this in the line number also, right? If you just see here, the in the line number 5, yes, we have the some bytes difference. But SDIF, yes, both the files content it is showing, and yes, whether it is having this difference or not, in which line it is having the differences. The line numbers which are representing with separate symbols. That is a piping symbol which is showing. That is about CMP and like SDIF commands. And yeah, we have like a vimdiff feature understanding, right? If I use it vimdiff, the first dot.txt and second.txt, yes, that is helping now as a more, I mean, this is recommended, like actually vimdiff is the more friendly whenever you are comparing the files, and if you would like to edit the files, use this vimdiff option. Now this is the first file and this is the second file, and in these lines like a fifth line and seventh line we have the some differences. Now you can enable that uh, even to know about the line numbers. Yes, in which line numbers we have the differences. Fifth line number and the seventh line number we have the some differences. Yeah, this is more beauty of that file comparisons vimdiff, which you can use it whenever you need that compare that two files. I mean, on the Linux system, I use this tool that is going to helpful. And on the Windows, we can find it some like explicit tools, like which you can find it file comparison tools. If you browse it in the Google, the GUI based tools are available. So to compare one file with another file, we can use it that notation as well as. But on the Linux system, yeah, vimdiff, diff command bytes wise it is showing that comparisons, and sdiff, yeah, both the files in which line we have the content difference, it is marking that lines. And vimdiff, yes, it is showing this in the VA editor, yeah, like a line by line and which line is having that comparison, so the differences. Yeah, so that's about there's some tools like sdiff, diff, diff, yes. If you just use that diff one more command, let me use it, that's also first dot text and second dot txt. There is one more utility, it is showing about it, the I mean, this is a first argument and this is second argument to this diff. And here we have, yes, in the fifth line and yeah, the second file fifth line we have the some comparison. Is this the comparison? Yeah, this file first.txt is having, this is like a less than indication that is the first file, and greater than indication that is second file, and comparison. Yes, this the fifth line is having this content from the first file, and in the same fifth line from the second.txt, this is the line which is available. That is helping to compare that the two files. And 7c7 in the 7 of the first file, and second seventh line we have the comparison. Now you see the some, yes, some bytes wise we have the some differences, right? Yes, while transmitting the data or while receiving the data, the ping command whatever we have used, it is just changed before the if config and after the if, after the ping, and then we are collecting that the packets how many it has been transmitted. Yeah, that's about the four utilities: CMP, SDIF, diff, and the fourth option which I have to say is that is vimdiff. Yeah, so there is a beauty tools, but main tool work with that vimdiff, that is going to helpful that to know those like the file comparisons. But now we have used .txt files. But suppose if you are or if you'd like to know the differences on binary files, binaries are the executables, right? Suppose let me do one quick activity. Suppose user the bin, we have that ls. This is the binary file. I'm just trying to copy to the current directory ls file. Yeah, so ls file. Now if you just compare with that, suppose let me use it here, the short 256 is sum. This is one more option which you're trying to mention that the file which is there in the user bin and ls, and the current ls file, yeah, the hash codes it is showing that the comparison. Do you have this any the code wise that differences or not? This SHA model, SHA is like as encrypted option which is going to support it. The file, whatever the code which has been generated, the first file and the second file related hash code, both are the same or not? Yes, here these are all identical. Yeah, now these two files are identical because the same file which are copied from here to here, right? Both files are the same. But let me do one small activity, that is echo. I'm just adding some content to this file, that is a local ls file. I'm not going to change it user bin ls. I'm just changing that the local one, temporary one which I have created. Now I have added some content. Now if you check it that the SHA model wise, yes, now this file hash code and second file, that is local file ls hash code is different. These two files are not identical. Yeah, with the SHA mechanism also we can check it that the file comparison, but it is not showing that's the content wise the difference, but it is helping about it the internal like hash codes of that the files. Yes, it is helping. Do we have any comparisons or not? Yeah, the first text files like mostly recommended to use it either diff command or vim diff commands. And yes, like binary files, the hash code mechanisms to verify that SHA-256 is some. This is one more utility from the Linux system which you can use it to compare the files. And now suppose if you apply that diff on these binary files, this is this is actual ls file and this is a local one which we are customized. Now if you see the diff, but diff command is not showing this now exactly the content, but it is showing that binary files user bin ls and ls we have the differ. But if I apply the diff on text files, now it is showing that exact the lines and the first file and second file in which lines we have the difference. The difference is showing that. But binary files whenever we apply, it is just helping that yes we have the differ from the first file to second file. Yeah, that is a observation like diff commands or sdiff command or which you can use it cmp command. Suppose now if I apply that cmp on this cmp of um, user bin ls and local ls. Yeah, it is showing about it. Yes, it is and the differ by to 1 in the line 1. Yeah, some comparison it is showing about it. Yes, that it is using that some comparison between the file lines. Yeah, so that is a like a comparison that the files with a diff option which we can use it, or as diff option we can use it, and we can use it about cmp, vim diff, and SHA-256 sum. So these are all the main utilities, and but main just focus on that vim diff. That is very beautiful command, especially whenever we are working with the version controlling tool, and sometimes conflicts which will be raised. But how do we resolve the conflicts from the local file and remote file, and how do we check it that the comparing that the content between these two files? Yes, we have some important concepts over there. There, I'll talk it that vim diff. But for the timing on the Linux system, if you need that some comparisons, yeah, get these concepts. Yeah, that's about on this quickly like understanding about it, the comparison of the files. Yeah, thank you.